The crypto revolution is upon us. It is a fascinating and intriguing development. It is only beginning. It will not be stopped. It will impact on every aspect of our lives. Most sources of information on the crypto revolution tend to dance around the surface. They leave you frustrated because you are left with a very superficial understanding. We have designed this series of videos to provide you with a nuts and bolts knowledge from which to build on. We are experiencing what will likely be one of the most disruptive technological advances in the history of the world. We invite questions and comments. We hope you enjoy. Lonnie G. Hardy, CPAs, Shreveport, Louisiana. The following presentation is for educational purposes only. It is not investment advice. We are not licensed investment advisors. All questions and comments are warmly welcomed. Lonnie G. Hardy, CPA, Shreveport, Louisiana. The first Bitcoin was created in January 2009. The concept of digital money was not new. It had been attempted as far back as the Internet's beginning. But Bitcoin was the first digital asset that offered decentralized control. Thus, no central person or government can manipulate it. Bitcoin is still in its infancy. But it is shaking the foundations of the world's monetary systems. Bitcoin and blockchain were conceived together. As you will see, it is an amazing and elegant achievement. Every single one of us will be impacted, just like we were when the Internet arrived.
Be aware. When you dive into Bitcoin, everything you thought you knew about money is out the window. All the world's concepts about it are about to change, but we cannot fight it. It will not be stopped. You will see why in the following discussions. Here we are faced with the problems of loss of privacy, creeping computerization, massive databases, more centralization. But Bitcoin offers a completely different direction to go in, one which puts power into the hands of individuals rather than governments and corporations.
The computer can be used as a tool to liberate and protect people, rather than to control them. 2.5 billion unbanked individuals across the globe, representing a quarter of the world's population. There is no access to banking and credit. No facility to protect personal savings or even make payments. During emergencies, medical expenses, urgent repairs, and small business expansion cannot be addressed with credit cards. Think how much more difficult your life would be without access to credit. This is where financial predators and loan sharks appear, worsening poverty, including hunger and untreated disease. Governments confiscate from the people. Recent examples are Cyprus and Lebanon. Enter Bitcoin.
Governments have abused their money systems. Unfortunately, the United States is no exception. Politicians just can't resist the temptation to paper over wild spending by creating new dollars. This chart of the M1 money supply, which includes cash and checking account balances, has exploded by almost 4 times over just 16 months. Obviously, this is the result of government transfer payments, including COVID stimulus checks. The broader money supply, called M2, which includes cash, checking accounts, and assets easily converted to cash, has likewise ballooned. It has exploded by 33% during the same 16-month period. Historically, these expansions of dollars are unheard of. The result is obvious. The inflation and the undermining of the US dollar.
What exactly is Bitcoin? 1. It is the very first decentralized, person-to-person money system. 2. It is completely secure and private. It is impossible to hack it. 3. Because it is decentralized, there is no central authority. Control is distributed widely. Any decisions must be reached through consensus of invested parties. 4. It does not require a middleman. There is no intermediary like a government or a bank. 5. Thousands of so-called nodes constantly audit transactions to make sure they are valid. By the way, a node is a computer owned by anyone who wants to be a node. Even you can install a node in your home. You simply download the special software, and then download the entire history of the blockchain. A node makes sure that everyone is playing honest, making sure no one spends more than they own. Thousands of nodes are located all around the globe. It is a voluntary function with no pay. Nodes are the good citizens of the blockchain community. They have a vested interest in the integrity of the system, because they almost always are investors in Bitcoin.
Here is a recent map of nodes located throughout the world. As you can see, they are widely distributed. This is why it is called a worldwide open ledger. Imagine every time you send money to someone, there are thousands of auditors overseeing the transaction. While so-called miners create new Bitcoin, it is the nodes that are constantly checking all transactions. In part 2 of these videos, we will fully discuss who miners are and how they create new Bitcoin. The creator of Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto, is a mysterious figure. No one knows his real name. Soon after creating and releasing his new invention, he stopped communicating about it with anyone. It is said that he was inspired to create a new money system when he witnessed the debasement of the US dollar during the 2008 real estate debacle. His name is Japanese. However, there is much doubt that he is native Japanese, because of his writing style and perfect use of the English language. In his later emails, he said he is moving on to other projects. Satoshi is not big on drawing attention to himself. You may read the entire white paper at www.bitcoin.org.
So, how has Satoshi been rewarded for his amazing invention? On April 23, 2011, Satoshi sent a final message. He said he was moving on to other projects. Before he dropped out of communication, Satoshi mined 36,288 blocks. Each of these digital blocks yield a specific number of Bitcoin. These blocks produced 1,148,800 coins. Today, Satoshi's coins are worth $55.14 billion, putting him in the top 20 richest people on Earth. As earlier mentioned, there is no indication that he has spent any of his coins.
Many people ask, why do we need Bitcoin? What advantage is there to owning it? Enthusiasts will answer with 1. It is a fully, worldwide distributed money system. There is no central authority that can abuse it. Because there is no central figure, Bitcoin cannot be sued, cannot be dominated by dark intentions. 2. It is a trustless monetary system. You don't have to have any faith in the other party. 3. It cannot be inflated by a money printing machine. The total maximum to be mined ever is 21 million. 4. It is very difficult to confiscate someone's Bitcoin. Without their keys, there is no Bitcoin. In fact, there is a saying that the only way to get at someone's stash is to go at them with a $5 wrench. 5. Bitcoin provides the poorest people on Earth to have access to a financial system that treats everyone the same. 6. You cannot counterfeit Bitcoin. Today, the cost of fake dollars is staggering. It is estimated that up to 200 million fake dollars are in circulation at any moment. Then, there is the cost of law enforcement required to find these fake dollars and prosecute criminals who print them. 7. Bitcoin is a person-to-person system that requires no middleman. No check writing, no credit cards, no paper waste. 8. Bitcoin is a low-cost way of making payments, no wire fees, no credit card fees. Advances continue to happen to continually reduce these costs. The Lightning Network is an example. To be discussed more later. And, just think of the merchant fees that businesses will not have to bear. 9. Bitcoin and the underlying blockchain has never been hacked. Never has. Likely, never will be. Later, you will see the amazing mathematical odds of this ever happening, beyond human comprehension. 10. Finally, contrary to what you may have heard, Bitcoin is not a system dominated by criminal enterprises. Transactions can, in fact, be traced by law enforcement. It is not a money laundering system. If you are drawn to Bitcoin to conduct criminal activities, better find another currency, right now, the most popular of which is the US dollar. Whenever a new disruptive technology emerges, some people become resistors. Usually, the strongest resistors feel their fortunes are being threatened.
The famous Charlie Munger of Berkshire Hathaway absolutely hates Bitcoin. He says it is disgusting. Warren Buffett called it rat poison. And then there is Mr. Peter Schiff, a committed gold bug, who feels it is worthless, and that only physical gold is a store of wealth.
The famous economist, Paul Krugman, columnist for the New York Times, deserves special recognition. He says Bitcoin is evil.
He is also famous for predicting that the invention of the internet would be no more important than the invention of the fax machine.
One famous man, however, was prophetic when he said,
I think the internet is going to be one of the major forces for reducing the role of government. The one thing that's missing but that will soon be developed, is a reliable e-cash system. Here are some of the so-called whales holding the largest Bitcoin stashes. Generally, any party holding at least 1,000 Bitcoin, currently worth nearly $50 million, is considered a whale. How many of these people do you recognize?
in order to understand the world of Bitcoin and blockchain, it is good to master the related vocabulary. You will learn new terms that you've never heard before. These are fun to learn.
BTC is the symbol for Bitcoin. The letters SAT, which is pronounced SAT, is short for Satoshi. It is the minimum denomination of Bitcoin. It is equal to 100th million of a full coin. An altcoin is any coin other than Bitcoin. A wallet is a digital program where Bitcoin are stored.
The private key is your secret code that protects your holding. It is also called your private address. It is a 64-character code based on the 16-character hexadecimal coding system. The hexadecimal system uses numbers 0 through 9, plus the letters A through F. When using a public exchange, it is the exchange, not you, that holds the keys. Therefore, many long-term holders prefer to store their Bitcoin in a private, cold wallet, which is not managed by an exchange. They believe that if you don't own your keys, then you don't own your Bitcoin. There are 10 million possible private keys. The security of Bitcoin relies on the mathematical impossibility of anyone guessing your private key code. In addition to the private key, you would also have what is called your public key, also called your public address. The public key is also a large hexadecimal code that is cryptically generated from your private key. It can be given to anyone with whom you transact business with. While the private key is similar to the key to your home, the public key is like the address of your home. Anyone can drive by your home, but no one but you is given the key to your front door. An example of a typical public key is illustrated on this slide.
Because of the extreme encryption of Bitcoin, it is believed that Bitcoin is impossible to hack. These statistics are staggering. The number of possible Bitcoin addresses is greater than the number of atoms in the entire universe. Larger than the grains of sand on billions of Earths. If every person on Earth owned an equal number of addresses, each would own the large number shown on the slide. These numbers are beyond human comprehension.
Using a random number generator on a powerful computer, how long would it take you to hack one particular Bitcoin address? The answer: long before you could find any one address, the sun will have already run out of fuel, and engulfed the earth and burned every living thing to a crisp. This is expected to happen in about 7.5 billion years from now.
A fun historical day with Bitcoin is called Pizza Day. On May 22, 2010, a Bitcoin holder paid for 2 Papa John's pizzas with 10,000 Bitcoin. The pizzas were worth approximately $25. Today, the 10,000 Bitcoin are worth $440 million.
Approximately 900 Bitcoin are newly mined every day. The total that can ever be mined is 21 million. So far, almost 19 million have already been mined. This leaves only approximately 2.2 million remaining to be created. It is estimated that 3.7 million have been permanently lost, never to be recovered. This means when all 21 million are mined, only 17.3 million will be in circulation. It is estimated that there are 20 million millionaires worldwide. Thus, if every millionaire in the world decided to buy one Bitcoin, there would not be enough to go around. This ignores the fact that Bitcoin whales have gobbled up hundreds of thousands of coins already.
Here are some sad stories of people who lost their Bitcoin. Stephen Thomas lost 7,002 coins. He stored his keys on a drive and then forgot his passwords. His loss, over $315 million. There is James from England. He stored his keys on his hard drive. Later, he threw his drive in the trash. He lost 7,500 Bitcoin worth over $337 million. Finally, there is Gerald from Canada. He died prematurely without leaving any record of his keys with anyone. His heirs lost $225 million.
Lost keys are rare among those who take special care. Here are some tips. 1. Never store keys anywhere on a computer, ever. 2. Store your Bitcoin in what is called a cold wallet. A cold wallet is a digital record that is not connected to the internet. Instead, it is offline and only connected to the internet when a transaction is to be conducted. An example of a cold wallet is a product known as Trezor. More on this later. Remember, not your keys, not your Bitcoin. 3. Always place a record of your keys with at least one or more trusted persons, such as a spouse or other relative.
Thank you for watching this introductory video. In future videos, we will gain an in-depth understanding of how this new technology works. We will learn: what are miners? Where are they located? How are they paid? How do miners create new Bitcoin? What is the math challenge that miners must solve? How does the blockchain really work? What is hashing? What is halving? How are Bitcoin profits taxed? How do you buy or sell Bitcoin? Stay tuned. There is so much more to come.